Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to a very special E-Tims podcast. My name is Desi and I am glad to say that tonight I have been joined by our resident tactician, who will become very handy, no doubt, soon enough, Hector Bandido. Good evening, Hector.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers. Hector has either shrunk, for the folks listening, obviously you can't see, but we're on video here, and Hector is that a stein you're holding up there, Hector?
It's a Spartan stein.
His hands are either very small, which we do feel when we go out for a drink. Sometimes his hands are very small, but that is a very large glass, and it looks half full, dare I say it. We're all an optimist. It's not half empty.
Desi.
No.
Which is well known, the podcast listener. That is your role on the podcast, Mr.
Yes.
Half.
Yeah, just watch that condensation doesn't drip on your wife's good couch. That's all I will say. Right. Okay, and we have also, sadly, Ralph Malf cannot be with us tonight. He's got a touch of the flu. He did hope to be here, so good luck getting better, Ralph. But we are joined by our resident man down in is it Iberian coast? Where are we tonight? Monty Burns.
Down the Iberian Peninsula. That's good to see you.
Lovely.
So half full.
He's sadly I don't have any glass whatsoever, sorry. But you've got a nice glass half full there. So thanks very much everyone for joining me tonight, and thanks everyone for listening. As always, thanks for your comments. Please like, subscribe where possible. It's always appreciated. But we are on tonight. It is the 23rd of October. It's just gone 8 p.m. here in Glasgow, and talking about optimism and half full glasses. Hector, we have just watched what one word, I've not asked you this before, but what can you think of one word you would use to sum up Celtic's emphatic, there's my word, 0-0 draw in Bergamo against Atalanta, let's not forget, the current Europa League champions? Boring? Are you going to go for?
No, I would say three words. Can we make it into one? Or four words? Backs to the wall. Professional backs to. Do you know what it was? And it was just obviously the game's only finished 15-20 minutes for those folk who are going to listen into this. We
the one person that's going to listen into this.
Aye, like most folk, there was after the optimism many of us had, including Monty, myself here before the game in Dortmund, built on from how we'd started the season, right? And we went there and probably too much optimism, but nobody thought 7-1. They thought we might get a beat 3-1, 4-1, whatever, but 7-1 just wasn't in anyone's thinking. And it so happens that now, 2 weeks or 3 weeks later on, before tonight, even people like me, who's an optimistic supporter, I couldn't see anything other than a Celtic defeat by at least a couple of goals. And it was interesting when the game started and we looked at it and you're picking every ball and everything else, you could see quite quickly the changes that Rodgers had made. Doesn't guarantee anything, but from the first 5-10 minutes, you could see the tweak. So he'd said his usual pre-match, nope, this is how we play, like Ange did as well. This is how we play. We've just got to play it better. He's a born bullshitter, as we know. And I think it worked to our advantage tonight because he completely revamped his tactics tonight. They were so compact with the 4 and the 3 and the 3. In fact, the majority of that, we'll come to the second half, majority of that game, we had 10 outfield players within about 30 metres of our goal line. So that was a complete change in style and tactics from Rodgers tonight, which obviously overall served us really well.
Yeah, so as Monty, as Hector alludes to, there was a lot of, let's just say, pragmatism stroke realism, where we thought, realistically, there's a really, really good chance Celtic are going to get beat over in Bergamo. But to be fair to you, Monty, prediction-wise, you were the only person that went for a draw, so fair play. You did say 2-2, but we'll take it. A draw, you won the coveted E-Tims predictor this week. So well done. I had 5-1. Hector, I think you were 4-2.
4-2.
And what was Ralph? 47-0 to Atalanta. So that's probably why he probably.
But Ralph being Ralph, for those who obviously won't know in our chat, Ralph is like so Desi, the fast show character that Paul Whitehouse plays, where he's in the pub. Is it Dave? He's in the pub. He's amongst two mates, right? One's an Arsenal fan, indecisive Dave or something like that. So one's an Arsenal, one's a Spurs fan. Whenever one of the guys says something, he agrees with them, right? Every sentence. So Ralph in our chat at half time had gone from Celtic and absolute pumped to Callum McGregor first goal. That's just.
So, but to be fair, he's probably on the cow, Paul. Let's be honest with his called. So we'll let him go. So Monty, let's take a wee step back. As Hector said, we were kind of thinking, especially myself being Mr. Negative, but came back a couple of days, Monty, all eyes were on Celtic training at Celtic Park and then heading to the airport, and the news comes out. So Greg Taylor was not expected, but the hope was after missing the Aberdeen game, like Cameron Carter-Vickers would at least be on the plane, and the news came out. No, he wouldn't. So following that Aberdeen performance, how were you thinking, Monty? I know you predicted the draw, fair play, but how were you thinking, considering we were looking at another Trusty Scales partnership in the middle of the park?
I think, first and foremost, I think Trusty, like all players, they need a run in the team in order to see them, and in order for them to settle down too, Desi. And I know he took a wee bit of flack on Saturday, the Aberdeen game. I think that was just a collective mindset shift at half time. They thought the job was done. Took their eye off it a wee bit. And Aberdeen, to be fair, had a go. Carter Vickers missing, you would think, and I have to say it, knowing that the counter to it, Desi, is he's not fit. He's not match fit. So you throw him in. Remember the game last year? Remember we threw him in and he made the mistake, the goal right at the end, Italian.
Yeah. Is that firing over? Yeah, exactly. I do.
You're running that risk. You're also running the risk of breaking him down again. Where Trusty and Scales have had 4 games, 5, 4.
I think that would be 6th game tonight.
6th game together, and all of a sudden there's a partnership building up. So. And when you look at how the two performed, when you look at the communication across the back four, and it was interesting watching Forrest come on, and we're going to talk about the game. Forrest talking to Johnson, making the, keep talking. It's clear that the two of them are building up a partnership. So all of a sudden you have a conundrum. Like Carter Vickers is our best defender. But do you put him straight back in and drop Trusty?
I think the stats today, Hector, showed that new Carter Vickers has missed. Is it a quarter of the Celtic games? No, obviously we all love him. We all love Cameron Carter Vickers. But that is a big number. But in respect to Trusty, Hector, and again, we'll come on to the match itself, but I think what the night highlighted was like he was everywhere, he was winning every header, but he was going for every header, if you know what I mean. Whereas against Aberdeen, I just get the impression Monty might have been right, as in it was a collective kind of, everybody seemed a wee bit out of sorts on Saturday. But I just thought Trusty looked like a left-sided player who was like Bambi on ice on Saturday. But the difference against Aberdeen compared to Atalanta was he had to defend tonight, and he looked like a defender. Whereas not against Aberdeen, he's expected to be Franz Beckenbauer. And obviously, if you're left-footed on the right-hand side, uncomfortable, you can't become that Alan Hansen style swashbuckling Van Dijk.
But you're right. There's also a second part to that. From Saturday's game to tonight's game. Saturday's game, for large parts of it, it was Trusty and Scales on their own, isolated. Yep. Tonight, it was a solid back four. The fullbacks hardly ventured forward all night. You had a tight midfield three, and then you had, as I say, you had a compact three where Ida was the furthest up the pitch, and the last part of that, he was in our own half. So, I get what you're saying, but it's also quite different. You had that protection around about him. And I think the other thing is as well, you're right, he's a left-footed centre-back playing on the right-hand side. So, and also if Celtic don't win now, it's like the end of the world for some people. It's as if there's a divine right to win 38 games, and if we don't, there's a post-mortem. And very briefly, I felt the game on Saturday, the first half, very briefly, was 2-0 coasting, and it was too easy. And your point, the players, probably like the fans, came out the second half thinking, we'll score a third, Then they'll come out, we'll get space, and maybe get another 1 or 2 goals. But they got the goal, they got the second, then they had a goal. It was fair play to them. They made 2 subs at half time. I actually thought we pummeled them the last 15, 20 minutes. So as a game of football, something else in Scotland, especially Celtic fans, are guilty of the last few years. We don't get tested enough. Nobody pushes us. It's too easy. It's not like the team that came after half time and went for our throats for 20, 25 minutes. And I felt actually we'll learn a lot from that. That would help us. Well, maybe not quite as good as we think we are domestically. Maybe certain players have got to push a bit harder and work it. And in many ways, it may have actually helped us tonight that we had to defend a fucking bit on the weekend. If that makes sense.
No, that does, and that's so the other side of the trusty defender question, Monty, you being, and I believe you maybe even scored at Celtic Park at one point in your career, you being a forward man, watching Nicholas Kuhn put that effort in the night. I mean that because I had my serious doubts that he would just be left out in the byline and the game would pass him by, but I couldn't have been more wrong in my assumption how that game would go, because I thought he did really, really well, defending, covering space. But then when they hit the ball, there was no panic. I thought Hatate did well in the first half too, as in no panic and finding a wee quarter second or a wee half second. You know what I mean? But I thought Kuhn was really good, Monty.
I think that's part of his development. You're asking about one word to describe that game, Desi, and I think growth would probably sum it up for me, that you're growing now as a team.
Always with the finance, Hector. He's always with the finance. Yes, sorry, Monty. Apologies. Growth, yes, that's a perfect word, to be fair.
But it's these are parts of his game that is alien. That's an alien part to his game, and now he's learning at the highest level. You take McCowan, who came on, off the bench for a European debut away to Atalanta in the Champions League, highest level. All of a sudden, you get to see what it's really like. What the pressure's like, what the expectation on you is. And I think for Kuhn especially, I thought he was excellent. I thought the way him and Johnson doubled up and teamed up together. Interestingly, I thought probably more impressive a performance was on the left-hand side from Violet, 20-year-old, Champions League away from home. And I thought him and Maeda did very, very similar. So they'd obviously worked on it, I think, Desi. And I think for Kuhn especially, it really, really showed. And I know Joe Hart was really, really talking him up in the commentary, about how this isn't his game. But he did everything that was asked of him and also carried a threat. And I think that's the key. I mean, maybe this is our template for playing away from home in the Champions League.
I think that's it. I think we all had our moments after obviously the criticism that Rodgers got after we get thumped 7-1. To have worked every single part of it was absolutely correct. He deserved criticism for they were walking through us, Dortmund. It was amateur at times. And 7 probably gave us more credit than it was worth. We could have lost 10, 11 goals that night. So what I would say is to take all that criticism and him being him and his massive ego, which is him at his best, as we've all discussed many times on here, then you can see the change tonight. And he did things that many of us, well, I said he had to tweak things, right? He's no stupid in the chat earlier on today, but many fans online, he'll never change, he's a one-trick pony. That was a significant change in style against Europa League winners. Sorry, Europa League winners, who pumped Leverkusen 3-0, who were undefeated in Germany, won the German league. And you're thinking he's went there against a quality team, who, by the way, they were at it they were going for us big, especially that first half. And we got a bit, let's be honest about it. First half, we got a bit lucky, right? We were due a wee bit of luck, but we did get a wee bit of luck. They missed 2 big sitters that they should have buried. But we needed a wee bit of luck. We got it. What I would say, and this is maybe giving a wee bit of hope for the future without being daft about it, we had opportunities on the break, in particular in the first half, where it's just that wee bit of calmness, that wee bit of patience, and to just pick a pass or pick the right pass. Don't panic. Don't rush. And again, I think that goes back to domestic football. They don't have that intensity on them. They know they've got time here. So for them suddenly to get bang, 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 a team at them 90 mile an hour for 10
Yeah.
minutes, 12, 15 minutes. When you get a wee breather, keep the ball, pick a nice pass, don't rush everything. And I just feel as if two things happened, especially in the first half. We rushed it too much and gave away the ball needlessly across the pitch, many players, and two, with some easy passes on that could have exploited them leaving us 1v1 at the back. And we just didn't just have that wee bit of confidence just to. So what I'm getting is, I'm wondering where we can actually learn from tonight, and maybe that's something we can do in away games moving forward.
I think just on that, Hector, if I can, it's that notion of trying to force it where it's not natural, and that's that difference in going from like fucking third gear to fifth gear and skipping fourth. You don't have that. And McGregor, there was one, I think Kuhn was away, and it was like a simple pass for him to make, and he just put it right where the fullback could intercept. And a couple of other little things where he gave a ball away on the edge of the box. And I think I mentioned it in our chat. We got punished for those things against Dortmund, where Atalanta didn't punish us tonight. So yeah, a wee bit of luck. But I think the more you can get used to that tempo, and we're never going to get that tempo in Scotland, which nobody can play that way. And that's what I mean about growth, albeit not in a money sense, Desi. If we can grow into the next couple of games, it's Leipzig next, isn't it? And then Bruges, am I right?
It's Leipzig, 5th of November, Bruges, 28th, and then Zagreb away.
Yeah, so Leipzig feels like another free hit, but it's at home now, so it's a leveler. So I wouldn't be surprised if we played similarly against Leipzig at Celtic Park, but maybe just a wee bit more, maybe being a wee bit more with variety. But it's just it's an interesting one around how we can remain effective without being so open. And as you said, Hector, Dortmund were walking through us. It was
so. Desi, question for you is our kind of team critic, if you like, right? And I mean that in a loving manner, as you know, right? What I would say is, what about you when you were watching it and you seen? I know we're all shit kicking every ball. We all do it, right? We all do it. But now the game's gone. Did you notice the difference in terms of the structure, the setup? Were you surprised, number one, to see a change?
Well, I've got here in my notes here, Celtic team announced Ida up front, ! So that was going to be a talking point, especially for Monty. But we'd kind of touched on it on our WhatsApp beforehand. Maybe do that. I'd thought maybe it could have been Kyogo and Maeda, but Ida worked it well, and he did hold it up well. But they did mention in the comment, Joe Hart was very good on the commentary. I thought he made a few kind of nice insights. Like, when Celtic, there was one point, I think, Alistair Johnson was part of an attack, and the attack broke down, or whatever happened, and we'd won the ball, whatever happened, we'd won the ball back again. But Joe Hart went, right, it's at this point we cannot lose it because we've lost our shape. No, what you think, we've got the ball, whereas he's instantly looking to say, right, you need to get back, you need to get back here, right back needs to get in the correct place, the left back needs to get in the right place. No, that way he's going, this is the danger moments, whereas Atalanta's obviously thinking the same. Wee things, and then he was talking about Feyenoord, how they self-inflicted pain, whereas we all thought, oh, the refs sent a couple of guys off. And no, like, it was really, really good. But you also mentioned how the players seemed to be taking that wee half second. There wasn't the panic. No, like Dortmund, the panic set in and quickly went right through the whole team. And,
well, losing goals does that, doesn't it?
No, but that's what I'm saying. So, but like even the night bit, it was a case of, wasn't it just clearing the lines? Like Hatate was looking, and again, as you mentioned, they were trying to find the players, and they were maybe just either gone the wrong side, or Maeda was running round the wrong side. No, that way we were just that wee lucky touch, or wee knowledgeable touch to actually make a chance. So I was really happy. I know that you and I share the Twitter feed, Tim's Twitter feed, and I know the two is immediately grabbed at the phone at that point where Liam Scales wins the ball, starts running down the left-hand side, looks up, says hello to Hatate who's inside him, and then for some reason tries to play a 25-yard ball to Ida and leaves a big massive gap. And you could hear the collective. You might have heard it from Portugal, Monty.
But it was the thing was, he did brilliant. He did brilliant to win it. He wins it actually just in the halfway line. Takes a few steps into their half. You're right, he's got Hatate there. He's got either Valle or Valle and Maeda to his left. It's a simple pass. And what he decides to do is play a diagonal 30 fucking metre Hollywood one. And you're going.
Channeling Gary Caldwell.
And it's things like that, isn't it? You go.
Yeah.
I can imagine Brendan, he's Gucci fucking belt, fucking ready to rip it out. Come on, you cunt. You know what I mean? But it's like, why are you doing? I mean, why? Just why? Right?
Yeah,
It wasn't
exactly.
just him. There was quite
That
a few of them
decision
were doing it.
That decision making thing, decision making under pressure. Well, at that point, Scales had done all of the basics very, very well, and he'd seen that. And there was Schmeichel made a very interesting comment. I don't know if you caught his interview. Pretty much, he was one of the first up, I think, after the game.
Yeah, I seen it. Yeah,
and he said that he mentioned two particular things, and I think they were teeing him up for it. He said, what was different about this than the Dortmund game? And he said we were just a bit more practical about how we would attack the game. We restricted the amount of ways that we would attack Atalanta. To paraphrase him, what he was basically saying was the likes of that fucking 30-yard diagonal ball. We said we're not going to do that because we'll get caught out. But Hart also made a very, very interesting observation on Ida's rule. I don't know if you picked up on it in the commentary. Atalanta conceded that ball to Schmeichel to allow Schmeichel to hit that to Ida, because they were backing that their centre half would beat him to the ball every time. And as a result of that, turning over Celtic, Atalanta had 6 players up, so it was going to be relentless pressure. And that type of insight in commentary, watching it in the box, it's fucking gold. Because then you're watching the game with a different pair of lens. You're going, hold on. So how come Ida, as effective as we might perceive him to be, how come Atalanta had so much pressure on us? And when you look at it, and this is going back to Dortmund, I know I'm hopping about a wee bit, but Brandt fucking destroyed us. And Lennon was talking about it 5 minutes in the game. Celtic need to get on top of Brandt. And Brandt was playing that exact same role. But the difference between Brandt and Ida was all of Brandt's flicks and movement. We couldn't dominate Brandt the way Atalanta kind of probably got the better of Ida. But that said, Ida was very, very effective for us in our game plan. So to your point earlier, Desi, or your question earlier, Ida starting, I think that notion is part of our learning from Dortmund. We need the ability to have something like a Brandt as a foil to at least let us build from that. And I thought he did well. I also thought Kyogo was brilliant when he came on in terms of just giving them fucking annoyance. We've a good squad, and I know we'll probably talk a wee bit about the different roles in the game tonight. But
it's horses for courses as well, isn't it? That's why you've got 2 strikers with 2 guys in each position where they do something a bit different. Ange was the first one I picked up on. He says, look, people think I need to change from 4-3-3 to 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1. He goes, no. He goes, I tend to have 2 players for each position, but they bring different skill sets to the team. And what he meant was just be changing the left winger. Somebody's got bags of pace against someone who's more creative, more skillful, more technique. And that was the first I picked up on it when he was here 2-3 years ago. And I think it's the same with the strikers. You get 2 completely different, contrasting styles in strikers. I think some games it might be a good fit for Ida, his height, physicality. Others for Kyogo, his pace and movement. And I think tonight's a good example. And invariably, both players are going to play a part of the game, either 60-30 or 65-25, if that makes sense.
And you're keeping a squad in regard to Hector, and I think that's going to be key, because we're going to add to it again in January, and you imagine it's going to be at that sort of level again to kind of push us on back to the word growth. So you're keeping an amount of players happy. No one seems to be falling to the wayside. I mean, Palma I thought was very good as well. He came on and did. There was one.
That was noticeable, Desi, when Palmer came on, right? And where I was coming, we noticed it with our youngest when I watched it was the work. So biggest criticism of Palmer his time at Celtic is a bit of a showman, a bit of a carnival player. And what I mean by that is that the trick and the flex, and I can lose it, so what? And one of our criticisms has been, I think rightly so, is that there's a lack of effort, a lack of sweat and desire, and he's been out of the team quite a lot. So it was quite a surprise, I think, when he was one of the subs that came on fairly early. But when he did come on, difference, he was chasing everything. He was working his socks off. So maybe the pennies dropped with him. I think he's a highly talented player, but it's the work ethic wasn't there with him. So hopefully for his benefit, for our benefit, that's the start of the change in him.
Yeah, I think, to fingers crossed. I actually thought there was a chance he might come on Saturday and save the game against Aberdeen following his Sligo hat-trick, but that didn't happen. But just to keep on the collective thing, the actual squad, I mean, when you look at that tonight, and I like the fact, I don't know, Hector, if you've noticed that Monty's channeling his finest Luke McCowan haircut tonight, the way when he first came on. He's trying to fix it, he's trying to tart it up as we've been talking, but when he first came on, he had a nice look.
It's a midlife crisis he's got. Midlife crisis.
lovely, nice blonde tips. I mean, Crystal tips and Alistair. Yeah, but no, just to touch on that, apart from having Scott Bain on the bench, what a life that man's had. But again, it's great to see the fact that we're using because as soon as we saw that team tonight, I feared that the midfield would be too lightweight. Hatate and McGregor, they would just run by us. But we knew we were going to need sub 60 minutes, 65 minutes, and sure enough, Hector, that's what happened. But everybody made a big contribution. And it was nice to see Alistair Johnson's learn from the Aberdeen game. Go down with cramp whenever you need a wee 5 minutes.
Although he did it twice in 2 minutes, which wasn't good because it means he was off for about 30 seconds,
At least.
which was a worry. But so my another big thing that impressed me as well was we got to half time and we're fortunate to be enough each other. Let's be honest about it. We're candid here, right? We're fortunate. No, I mean they two great the other chance, but two great chances that they hit straight at Schmeichel. Schmeichel did well, but straight at him, right? Second half, I was probably expecting more of the same, but what I was really happy with was we seemed to be more controlled defensively, if that made sense. They didn't have as many easy options to put in crosses, and there were 3v2s on the right hand side or left hand side. We seemed to be more man to man or passing a man on better. It's as if the confidence in the team grew in the second half, and it limited them to almost nothing. I think they'd won with the boy, the sub striker came on, and he kind of turned inside. Was it Trust Their Skills? He shot to a tight angle straight at Schmeichel again. Maybe a header from a ball that came in. But they were limited. Compared to the first half, it was like the Alamo at times, wasn't it? We were kind of defending, for our lives. I thought the second half was a more measured defensive approach. And that was good to see. The longer the game went on, we seemed to gain a lot of confidence in how we were kind of managing the game.
I was just checking the stats there. I know you love a stat, Monty. Because again, I think when they put the stats up at half time, it was quite balanced. I think it was either Neil Lennon or Johan Mjalby mentioned on the TV. Oh, they're quite actually balanced. Say we had 200 passes to their 250. But obviously the second half has changed, twisted round a little bit. So we had 4 shots. Monty, how many shots do you think Atalanta had tonight? Not on target, just in general. How many shots?
I think I've seen that they had maybe 20 to our 4 at one point.
Hold on, 22 shots, 6 on target. So that shows, Monty, the good job, the defensive walls. And again, the space, there was hardly any space. Every time we were trying to make space, we always had. In the first half, I thought there was a bit of a worry on your left. Valley seemed to be left on his own for a wee while with 2 guys, but it never came to anything. And we had 33% possession, which meant Atalanta had the glorious 67% possession. But it all depends what you do with the ball, doesn't it, Monty?
Look at our stats in the second half against Aberdeen. At 82% of the ball, and like nothing. So I think it does. It's around then how effective the system was, Desi, and how effective the system was in stopping Atalanta. Hector, just to your earlier commentary on them, Atalanta, I think, are the highest scorers in Serie A.
Yeah.
So you've got.
I think they were also. Sorry, Monty. Apologies. I think they were also highest scorers last year, and they're already highest scorers this year.
Yep. So you're going to a ground and a system that is very, very good, and we've neutralised it. Now, there's another piece to your point too. Earlier, Hector, just we didn't really touch upon. They had a few guys missing, and it's not to detract from how well we played. They had 1 or 2 that would have started. I think Scamacca, was out. That guy who's a former West Ham or something, or Italian international. They did certainly 2 or 3 that probably would have, would have been in a different quality bracket. But then you look at the ones they're bringing on Italian internationals from the bench. They're bringing on like top quality players. So I think just system, Desi, and we've benefited from it in the past. The famous Barcelona game that I watched. Charlie Mulgrew did a podcast.
The 1% possession game.
The one, we've been the rope-a-dopers. We've been the ones who've benefited from it. So I just think.
Yeah, but this thing with you, Monty, this thing with you on that, because Neil Lennon at half time, that's exactly what he said. He's like, I'm loving watching this Celtic performance. And Big Mayalby went, me too. He actually shouted, me too. I mean, so you could tell from a football perspective, it wasn't just a backs to the wall thing. It was try and win the first ball. We kind of win that, win the second ball. If you do get a second, try and do something with it. You know what I mean? Professional.
Also, but make sure that they know in the back of their mind, because they were leaving man for man. We were three, obviously Ida, but they were quite deep. But once we got it, the instructions were to try and hit the channel or move it at pace. But also always let them know that we're a threat. We're going to try and get behind them. And I think that was something we tried to do. We didn't have a lot of opportunities, especially in the second half, but we were always trying. That rare moment we got an opportunity was to go forward. It wasn't just keeping it at the back and just eventually losing it. We're trying to go wide or go through the middle. And actually, we had a couple of good opportunities again. That final ball on the break, we couldn't take advantage of it. The one thing, just so I don't forget, and I will forget, Scales and Trusty as a central defensive partnership tonight. All 16 players contributed as a group, as a unit. Every single one of them did, right? Maybe not offensively, maybe not the sexy things going forward, but as a unit to defend and keep it tight. But Scales and Trusty were outstanding tonight. They were 10 out of 10, both of them tonight, in terms of the challenges they won, the positional sense, their communication, last man challenges on the 6-yard line, stopping a tap in. Those two were fucking immense tonight. So a massive applause for them, the two of them.
Yeah. And again, this ties into what I'm looking at the stats, Hector, and what I thought was really interesting. You're playing an Italian team with a specific, almost unique way of playing, man marking, etc. There was only 14 fouls in the whole game. 9 fouls, Big Celtic. 5 fouls for Atalanta. Considering you called the referee an absolute cunt halfway through the first half, are you surprised with these stats, Hector?
But remember, you missed a bit with the audience who one listening here. What was the bit
George,
I said?
George, hello, George.
I said, even by the way he runs, you can tell the ref's a cunt. That's what I said, right? But he just had this.
He runs like a cunt.
He booked Alistair Johnston 7 minutes, right?
He nearly broke a guy's leg, to be fair.
Oh, fucking. And then he gave a foul against Rio for slipping. Rio slipped, and he gave a foul. And then Rio being too nice goes to say to the guy, sorry. What are you fucking saying sorry for? Stick one in the cunt. But
I tell you, see you when we win a game.
I know.
Yeah,
so that was good. The one I would say as well, right, and I can feel it already in my bones, right? We've got this group of fans that tonight is a great night, considering the pumping, going to a top quality team, seeing out of nothing each, a clean sheet, nothing each. It's a great result for us. But don't highlight one or two players who weren't 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10. What I mean by that is Engels. Engels clearly, as a young guy, the potential's vast. You can see the potential there with this boy, but he's a young boy. Give him a chance to just settle in, because I tell you right now, this time next year, he's going to be a fucking superstar, but he's 21-year-old. And I can just sense all this. What do we get for all £1 million? Fuck it. Just be patient. Patience, please, and you'll get the result if you're patient. Anyway, next.
Oh no, that's a very good point. Monty, question for you on that then. Is that really up to Brendan to make sure he protects Engels, or does he keep pushing him to the line to break through it, so to speak, or a wee bit of both?
I think it'll be a combination of both, but I don't think he's the sort of fella that will get too down on himself. He comes across, Engels that is, he comes across very self-confident. And to learn at that level, he's not going to I'm trying to think of the last midfielder that we had that really fucking dominated a Champions League match. Can you think of one? Wanyama? Did he ever dominate a match? No. Did McGregor or Brown ever dominate a Champions League match? No, they fucking didn't. I can't think of it anyway. I can't think. So you're bang on the money, Hector. Expectation levels. He's 20. He's growing into a new team, a new role, a new culture. He's never played at this level. So these boys are all learning, and it's part of where we are. I think it's part of now the Celtic's position in European football. Come here, learn, take a couple of years at it. You know, understand the pressure of needing to win every week. Understand the pressure of stepping up to the highest possible level, and we'll make you into a player and we'll move you on. You know, and then you can go and think, in one of the more glamorous or the more testing leagues. So Engel, now the trade-off, Desi, I think Bernardo, again, when he came on, was fucking superb.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You can see him growing in a way that Engels will be there, as Hector said, this time next year.
Yeah, exactly. Bernardo's had the year, and also what I think, like a game like the Dortmund game, Hector and Monty, for Engels is suddenly like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, he's got to deal with that. He's got to deal with the repercussions when he gets back to Celtic Park, etc. But like a game like the night, you've got the other side of that. Suddenly it's like, wait a minute, we can really kick on here, and the confidence goes through the roof, touch wood. I'm just looking here, by the way, Leipzig are currently getting beat 1-0. So they are 3 games down, 3 defeats at the moment. So that'll be very interesting for our next opponents. But yeah, Hector, Scales and Trusty. My serious worries watching the Aberdeen game, but Trusty tonight, I think, has won a lot of people over. The guy was man in the match, I'd say, just on that sheer performance. He looks like a really good defender. The question whether we need a defender is one that comes up every year, so to speak. We're always looking for that big Van Dijk guy. But it'll be interesting to see if Carter Vickers does get back and then does Trusty move to the left and become that, because he does look quite comfortable when he starts getting up the park.
So here's the wee thing, right? So what Brendan, like Ange, they're pretty much 4-3-3, and there'll be tweaks to that with the 3 mid between, one sitting, occasionally 2 will sit, but invariably it's a 4-3-3. Part of me thinks for Europe, and he did this with Leicester. People think they're not stupid. They've got a system they want, and they've got confidence in it. And part of it is to demonstrate to the players, as a coach, I've got confidence in this system. So you've got to believe me when I say to you, this is how we play. If a coach is tweaking every single fucking week, players must go, I'm not quite sure what he's asking for me here. So where I'm coming to with this one is, when Carter Vickers, bring him back soon, and thankfully his current injury is nothing like the previous one. It's not the muscular thing he's had before, it's on his toes, so it's completely different, right? But there may be an opportunity for a game in Europe. Say, do you know what? We can go 3-5-2. Why not? You can go Carter Vickers, you can go Trusty and go Scales. A lovely balance there with that. You can go a 3-5-2 with 2 solid wing backs and then 2 up front. We could do that. It gives us options. So I wouldn't rule that out. We'll be forced with 3 most games, 90 plus. But there might be the odd occasion where he goes, you know what? Or if we're trying to see a game out and we're 1-0 up, or we're trying to get a point with 50 minutes to go, you bring another defender on to give that 3-5 at the back. So it just gives us options, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, very good. So looking ahead, right, so that was tonight. Fantastic, well done, especially big.
Desi,
well
can I
done.
ask you a question, Desi? Are you happy?
I'm content. Let's no go mental.
The South Stand Tartan Shaw Brigade will be happy the next time you meet up.
Well, we certainly are not happy on Saturday.
No.
I'll
Let's
tell you
go
that.
back
No,
to Saturday. Let's
I'm
talk
telling
about
you.
the next time. The future,
No.
Daisy.
Right, so I'll not beat the Leipzig game because it's my birthday on the
Here
5th.
we go.
I'm boycotting. It's my birthday. I'll not be there that night. I'll be away watching the crash. I'll be watching the crash test dummies. So that's fine. So I'll not be there. But yeah, no, of course I'm happy. I think it was an excellent surprise. I mean surprise as in great to see. But I think we could do it again. It's not a shock. Lucky. I don't think it was anything lucky about that tonight.
It's against a quality team, Daisy. I think that's the most impressive thing.
But I'm looking at the table, the actual big Champions League table now.
So am I right now.
And it's really like Club Brugge on 3 points. Celtic on 4. Celtic's in 22nd place on 4 points at the moment. But you still get a bit of goal difference, may make some differences there. But Leipzig being beaten 1-0 at the moment is really significant, because then you go into the fourth match. You know what I mean? And then you're suddenly going, well, if you won that, then you really could have a great chance. So we'll get Leipzig, Monty. We'll get next two Champions League games. Leipzig on the 5th of November, Bruges on the 28th of November, and then the last one for this year, Zagreb away. So, Monty, are you really happy that we have 4 points already from 3 games, considering the 2 major opponents we've faced away from home? And what's your expectation for the next 3 games left this year? What do you think, Monty? Leipzig at home, Bruges at home, Zagreb away.
I think we'll pick up a minimum of 4 points out of those 3 games. I don't think we'll pick up any more than 6, Desi. I think Leipzig, because they've lost 3, the Celtic Park factor has the bit, it levels the game. But if we could put in a performance like we did tonight, we could beat them. You know, a draw, I think, would be a really good result against that level of team. Bruges, to your point, looked like a really, really good footballing team, but the Celtic Park factor should give us, I think, an advantage. And then I don't think we've anything at all to fear going away to Zagreb. I think we'll take 4 points out of it. I think we'll fall in one of those games, Desi, but a draw and another victory in one of those, or 2 out of those 3, that'll put us on 8 points. Fuck, you're nearly there. You're nearly into that playoff, you know. And it's not the stupid blind optimism or me taking the piss, you know. I just sensed out of the
the next result changes things, surely. The next result is a massive result in terms of what we've done away from home against a quality team.
And not only does it do that, Hector, for the group, and you know, I keep using the growth word, but how they grow as a team. But it is the extra point, and that notion, you've now took a point out of the pot 1 teams that we drew again, that we pulled out of the bag. We've took 3 points off the pot 4 team that we've played, and now we move into the next pots to see how we evolve. So we tonight. I know there's loads of variables, but it just creates a statement. And I do believe between Leipzig, Bruges, and Zagreb, there's 4 points in there, and possibly more for us to get. I just think we'll have another blip along the way. You know, in this side of the new year. But if you're going in, Desi, to the last couple of games with 7 points or 8 points on the board, you're nearly there. Like, you're nearly there. What have we after that, Villa?
I'm just looking just to bring my classic pragmatism, realism to the fore, Hector. Here, I'm just looking at Leipzig's Champions League games this year. Atletico Madrid beat them 2-1. Juventus beat them 3-2 in a mad, crazy match where Juventus were down to 10 men, and Liverpool are currently beating them 1-0. So they've not exactly had their easy games to face so far.
That's tough, isn't it? Can I just say,
one goal in it in every game so far. So we really need to bring ourselves back to ground a little bit. But again, if we play like we played tonight, Hector,
we not played about 3 or 4 years ago in the Europa League.
Was that the way?
We don't beat them 2-1 at home.
We beat them at home, but they tortured us away. They fucking destroyed us away. I was at the away game. Great away trip, by the way, lovely people. But they had the likes of Guardiola and Nkunku, who's at Chelsea. They sold a lot of that team, Hector. That's a brand new team now, bar 1 or 2 names that you would be familiar with. So
we beat them 2-1. We beat them 2-1 on the 8th of November. And they beat us 2-0. They beat us 2-0.
So the thing is, right, when we play them soon, we've got that's 3 games down. We'll get 4 points, which I think, being realistic, the most anyone thought we'd get after 3 games is 3 points. It's the home game with Bratislava. We thought we'd lose to Dortmund and away to Atalanta. So we're 1 point up where we should be. We've played 2 away, 1 at home, which means we'll get 3 at home still to go. We're probably looking at 10 points to guarantee you're in the playoff round. Probably less than that, but 10 would guarantee it. Possibly 9. So we're on
9.
4. Right, so we're on 4. So I expect us, if any chance at home advantage, is to beat Young Boys at home and beat Bruges at home. That's got to be the target. And it's no, that's got to be the target. 6 points. Then I think going away to Croatia, looking at their start, looking at how we've played tonight, is to get at least a point there. So I think we should be realistically targeting 11 points. Right?
There's another 7, absolutely, Hector. There's another 7 points in competition for us, without a doubt.
And but the caveat, and I've got to always emphasise this, is we need our best players available. If we have a run where 2 or 3 key, to get the bets are off, it's a different game. But if we can just keep our core. And by the way, that's been without Carter Vickers again. But
I was just about to say,
majority of the majority of the you know what I mean by that, the Calmax, he's vital, right, to how we play in Europe. So yeah, optimism. We're Desi, the live table, we're 21st in the live table.
Oh, lovely.
Never thought you'd say we'd be happy with Celtic being 21st. Never thought we'd ever say that, but there we go.
Where we deserve to be. I'm just looking. So Young Boys get Gub 3-0 with Aston Villa, and then they get Gub 5-0 with Barcelona, and they're currently drawing 0-0 with Inter. Let me just check. I watched a wee bit of Bruges last night. I know they get beat, but they're a young team, and they really do play some lovely football. They're down to 10 men, and they walked the actual ball into the net against Milan last night. So that'll be an interesting game. But Monty, coming to you. The last match scenario, the lovely potential of Hector and Stan Collymore raising a mythical stein to each other across the football heavens, saying, enjoy your 1-1 draw, guys, because we're both, Aston Villa qualify at the top of the table and we qualify at a lovely 21st place. Would that be a dream scenario? John McGinn scores an own goal in the last minute to take us through miraculously. Would that be acceptable?
It would be acceptable, but I think it's also highly unlikely. I think Unai Emery is an absolutely top drawer manager. I think it's been proven too what he's doing at Villa. I think they fucked him over at Arsenal with their arrogance. I would not be confident even if he played second string down there, which he won't because it's the Champions League. I wouldn't be confident of getting anything out of Villa Park, Desi. It'd be lovely, and it would be lovely for John McGinn to stick one into the top corner for us in the last minute. But that'll be a tough game. But that said, anytime we've played English opposition with Rodgers, we always seem to up our game. He knows how to play against them. So be nice. The nice fairy tale. I would much prefer to have it in the bag by beating young boys before we get down.
Exactly. So I'm just thinking that the gentleman's agreement, a point does everyone. We're all quite happy. We don't want to risk any injuries. Carry on. Right, so a quick look at Bruges. Bruges went away and beat Sturm Graz away. And then they get beat 3-0 with Dortmund. They only get beat 3-0 with Dortmund at home. And they're currently, they get beat 3-1 last night, but they were down to 10 men. So that's their next opponents, Hector. But talking about the squad, talking about the calendar, it is a crazy calendar, right? You ready for this, Hector? We have Motherwell away. Then midweek we've got Dundee home. Then we've got Aberdeen again at Hampden for the Cup. Then we've got Leipzig at home. Then we go to one of your favourite grounds, Killie away. Then we go to a rejuvenated Hearts away. Then we have Bruges at home, Ross County at home, and ending with Aberdeen away. I mean, that's quite a run of games, so you're going to need all of your squad.
When's that? To what's the dates to the last game?
1 second. Yep. 1 second, mate. 1 second. Let me go back one. I was concentrating on the Atalanta there. The last game against Aberdeen will be scroll up, not down. Last game against Aberdeen is the 4th of December. And then we'll get Hibs. Then we'll get Hibs at home, Dynamo Zagreb at home, away, Dundee away, Dundee United away, and then Motherwell and Boxing Day. And
my question was all those games. There's not another international break in November. Or 2 weeks.
So hold on, let me just get the timings. So we'll get Motherwell.
Helps us this time.
Yeah, so we'll get the semi-final of the Cup 2nd of November. And then we've got Leipzig on the 5th, and then we go to Kilmarnock on the 10th, and then there's a break until the 23rd against Hearts away.
Yeah.
So,
So
you
I think, and I'm usually a moaner when it comes to international breaks because they annoy the life. But however, I think this season, it might help us a wee bit. And I'm thinking like a Calmac and a few others who aren't with the national squads. So I think for us, that's a good wee break to get. Just give these guys a wee chance to recharge. So
yeah,
I'm all
and
for it.
hopefully Maeda and Hatate can avoid being dragged over to Japan for, I think it was like 23 minutes between them for the recent games. And then I think Engels only get 13 minutes, but he was up against France. That's a really good experience for the Belgium team. You know what I mean?
And for the moaners again, you've emphasised that point you mentioned there. Engels is in the Belgium squad and coming on with the Belgium team to play against France. Just be patient. It's the Bernardo thing. With a lot of our fans wrote off Bernardo.
Yeah.
This time last year, in fact, not even that long ago, and we can see the growth in him. Engels is younger than Bernardo, right? And they're going to be special talents, the two of them.
Yeah, and the other thing too to add to that, just for context, the Kettler came off the bench for Atalanta. They spent 22 million on him instead of buying Matt O'Reilly, and he's in that Belgian squad as well. And Engels is getting a game, I think, either at the same time as the Kettler or possibly even in front of them. Mm-hmm. So you got to look at this all in the main. And I think if there's people starting a fucking pile on Engels, they need to go and take a flying fuck. Because, as you say, I think he's just going to be top draw. We'll be lucky to keep him up.
It's the price money, and unfortunately, I get it because historically we don't spend a lot of cash for the money we've got. To spend that amount, people expect Ronaldo kind of thing, right? And that's not going to happen. But I'll just say, just be patient, enjoy tonight. I think tonight's a big marker in terms of our club. I think it demonstrates we've learned major lessons from Dortmund. It guarantees nothing in the future, but what it should give us confidence and supporters knowing that we're not just a one-trick pony. We're not just a 4-3 gung-ho, go for it, leaving spaces to exploit. We've got a plan B.
Are you saying we've got two tricks?
Well, we're a two-trick pony now, Desi, which at something, you know what? It was like Ange. I loved Ange to bits, but Ange just fucking couldn't put a defensive shape up to save himself, right? And we know that, and we felt Brendan was the same. The two of them are quite similar in many ways, right? But I'm actually delighted that we did a different approach tonight. And the longer the game went on, the less they looked like scoring. So great result tonight. The team will grow a lot from this, and hopefully the supporters can go with a bit of confidence now to future games and say, right, but a pragmatism actually might happen tonight.
Yeah, so I think that's only our second clean sheet in the Champions League, and the first one was also Brendan Rodgers, but it was against a managerless Anderlecht a couple of years ago. Remember 3-0?
So, away from home, and away.
Yeah, but remember they were totally then. They were just a club short at that point. But so Monty, just a quick confirmation. So do you think Brendan has learned then? I've wrote here in the notes, has Brendan actually learned? Shocker, question mark. So if we get proof tonight, is that confirmation Brendan's turned the corner in Europe? Or is he just peeking round the corner at this point?
I think if you were to ask him, did we set up any different?
He would say there is no corner. Life's a circle.
Life's a circle, and he's just, in the middle of it, just observing for all our benefit.
Die of the storm. No one is blind.
And everyone should seek calm in his presence. No, I think we haven't. It's not a turning of the corner. I think if you asked Rodgers and you asked the players, did we set out to do anything particularly different than the way we normally set up? I think they'll say no. We just were more pragmatic about our application. Roughly translated, that means yes, we did.
Yes. Which Michael said it at full time when he did the interview. He actually came out and said, yes, we set up tonight to be more pragmatic and to take less risks. And what he meant, less risks, in particular in and around our penalty box. Although tonight I did stream it to you about fucking 25 times when Kuhn tried to dribble out the fucking penalty box after 75 minutes. And Rio, as usual, we flick over a guy's head, fucking 20 yards from goal. I screamed, fucking get rid of your cunt! But that's just me and most of the Celtic support base.
You can take a boy out of St Mary's.
But they're doing exactly, and Rogers would be delighted that they're trying those wee flicks and trying to play it out of the back. That's what I mean about them not changing philosophy. It's Ange's beautiful comment about, you know, if I'm a vegetarian and I'm hungry, I don't just nip into McDonald's. You know, it's just.
Yeah,
They
but
went to the same fucking global school, didn't they?
But exactly. But I think it's clear tonight. Even like Rodgers might even turn and goes, "Oh, we never changed anything. All we did was play the game in half the pitch." I mean, that was the difference. Instead of the players being 30 yards apart, it was like you come and be 10 yards apart and make it a lot harder for them and a lot easier for somebody to find you.
How many long balls did we play against Dortmund?
Yeah.
Right. From kickoff tonight, actually, we took kickoff and Calmac fired it down to their corner.
I remember Neil Lennon's tactics.
Exactly. And then the long ball for Schmeichel, Ida, was a game plan tonight.
Right, sorry. Apologies, Hector. But can we just talk about that? Because see if a rugby player did that, he'd kick the ball into touch. It would be lauded as the greatest kick you've ever seen. That was unbelievable, that kick. 85 yards and it just trundles out
right
before the flag. That was unbelievable.
Craig Levine tactics, God bless him.
Exactly. So well done, Brendan Levine. So that's it. So just a quick shout. I did put it on your Twitter. Any suggestions for a post-match podcast outro song? So I got here as the Big Stevie Boy put in praise of Trusty and Scales. So this could be you, Hector. In praise of Trusty and Scales, a solid by Ashford and Simpson. Skippy, that Stein's starting to kick in. Skippy at Joanne Murdoch. Joe Dolce's shut up in your face.
You can sing that one. You bought it as a kid.
No. I had Vienna, which it kept from number one, of course. Scouse Timms has asked for the Italian Job theme tune. NCC Mick settled for the draw by Arctic Monkeys. And then Porag asked for Valari. What have we got here? Somebody's actually went for a Joe Dolce. This means nothing to me. Atalanta. So we're even skipping countries. We're not going Vienna or Venice. We're going straight to Atalanta. So that's it. But we're going to go with Jimmy Not P, Jimmy Not Paul. We'll go with his as outro tonight. So it's just left for me to say, well done, Brendan and the boys, for that lovely display at Atalanta. Hopefully this is the point where we kick on. All performances will be at least at that standard. That would be great to see. So well done. We've done it once. We can do it again. Thanks very much to Hector and Monty. So thank you, Hector, for joining tonight.
Yes, guys.
You managed to both not finish the drink and not need to go for a piss. So that was very impressive.
Hey, this is a proper fucking. Is it a Stein? A litre?
It's gigantic. People can't see, but it's gigantic. So well done. I'll let you go for a piss now that we're finished. And also thank you for breaking in another one of your holidays, Monty C. Burns. Thank you, Monty.
It's tough. Thanks a million, Desi. Thanks, lads. Enjoyed that.
Okay, so I'll just leave you folks with a word from our sponsors and an outro song for Jimmy Not Paul. My name's Desmond. Good night.
This podcast is sponsored by Big Tam's London Road Furniture Store, providing fearful Celtic fans with big fuck-off sofas to hide behind since 1888.